Today our topic is what Epictetus taught about freedom. Epictetus was a Stoic philosopher who lived a long time ago, but his ideas about freedom are still very important today. He believed that true freedom comes from inside us, not from the things we have or the situations we are in. Epictetus was born as a slave, so he knew what it was like to not have physical freedom. But he taught that even if we are not free in our bodies, we can still be free in our minds. This is a powerful idea because it means that no matter what happens to us, we can always choose how we think and feel. Freedom, according to Epictetus, is not about having control over everything in our lives. It is about having control over our own thoughts and actions. He said that we should focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot control. This is a key idea in Stoicism, and it can help us live happier and more peaceful lives. Epictetus taught that many people are not truly free because they are slaves to their desires and fears. They want things like money, fame, or power, and they are afraid of losing these things. But Epictetus said that these desires and fears are what make us unhappy. When we want something too much, we become anxious and stressed. When we are afraid of losing something, we become worried and unhappy. Epictetus believed that the only way to be truly free is to stop wanting things that are outside of our control. Instead, we should focus on being good people and living according to our values. This is how we can find peace and happiness. One of the most important lessons Epictetus taught is that we should not let other people control our emotions. He said that when someone insults us or treats us badly, it is not the insult that hurts us, but our own reaction to it. If we choose not to be upset by the insult, then it cannot hurt us. This is a very powerful idea because it means that we have the power to control how we feel, no matter what other people say or do. Epictetus said that we should not let other people's opinions define us. Instead, we should focus on being true to ourselves and living according to our own values. This is how we can be truly free. Epictetus also taught that we should not be afraid of things that are outside of our control. For example, we cannot control the weather, or what other people think of us, or whether we will get sick. But we can control how we react to these things. If it rains, we can choose to be upset about it, or we can choose to accept it and move on. If someone says something mean to us, we can choose to be angry, or we can choose to let it go. Epictetus said that when we accept the things we cannot control, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. This does not mean that we should not care about anything. It means that we should focus on what we can change and let go of what we cannot change. Another important idea that Epictetus taught is that we should not be attached to material things. He said that things like money, houses, and clothes are not important for true happiness. What is important is how we use these things. If we have a lot of money but we are greedy and selfish, then we will not be happy. But if we have very little money but we are kind and generous, then we can be happy. Epictetus believed that true wealth is not about having a lot of things, but about being content with what we have. This is a very important lesson because many people today think that they need more money or more things to be happy. But Epictetus said that true happiness comes from inside us, not from the things we have. Epictetus also taught that we should not be afraid of death. He said that death is a natural part of life, and it is something that we cannot control. Instead of being afraid of death, we should focus on living a good life. This means being kind to others, doing our best, and living according to our values. Epictetus said that if we live a good life, then we do not need to be afraid of death. This is a very powerful idea because it helps us to focus on what is really important in life. Instead of worrying about things that we cannot control, we can focus on being good people and making the most of the time we have. One of the most famous quotes from Epictetus is, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This quote sums up his philosophy very well. He believed that we cannot always control what happens to us, but we can always control how we react to it. This is the key to true freedom. When we learn to control our reactions, we become free from the things that cause us pain and suffering. We can choose to be happy, no matter what happens to us. This is not always easy to do, but it is possible if we practice and work on it every day. Epictetus also taught that we should be grateful for what we have. He said that many people are unhappy because they always want more. They are never satisfied with what they have, and they are always looking for the next thing that will make them happy. But Epictetus said that this is a mistake. True happiness comes from being grateful for what we already have. When we learn to appreciate the things we have, we become happier and more content. This is a very important lesson because it helps us to focus on the positive things in our lives, instead of always wanting more. Another important lesson from Epictetus is that we should not judge others. He said that we should focus on our own actions and not worry about what other people are doing. If someone does something wrong, it is not our job to judge them. Instead, we should focus on being good people ourselves. This is a very important idea because it helps us to live more peacefully with others. When we stop judging others, we can focus on our own growth and improvement. This is how we can become better people and live more fulfilling lives. Epictetus also taught that we should be patient and persistent. He said that life is not always easy, and there will be many challenges along the way. But if we are patient and keep working hard, we can overcome these challenges. This is a very important lesson because it helps us to stay strong in difficult times. When we face challenges, we should not give up. Instead, we should keep trying and do our best. This is how we can achieve our goals and live a good life. In conclusion, Epictetus taught that true freedom comes from inside us. It is not about having control over everything in our lives, but about having control over our own thoughts and actions. We should focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot control. We should not let other people control our emotions, and we should not be afraid of things that are outside of our control. We should not be attached to material things, and we should not be afraid of death. Instead, we should focus on living a good life, being grateful for what we have, and not judging others. We should be patient and persistent, and never give up in the face of challenges. These are the lessons that Epictetus taught about freedom, and they are still very important today. If we follow these lessons, we can live happier, more peaceful, and more fulfilling lives.